All right, thank you. Thank you, facilitator. Pardon me, sorry. Moderator, Ms. Warakai Manua. Before I get straight into my presentation, let me firstly thank the organizer, PNG Co, for giving me this opportunity to basically come and speak in this session. Let me also acknowledge our leaders. My minister was here this morning, and Honorable Windaki, if you are in the room, let me acknowledge you with your other leaders, both elected and appointed representing the country who are here for this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now get into my presentation. This is basically the outline of my presentation. I will basically focus more on the policy intervention. We are a policy-oriented department. Under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, we have other commercial authorities that are within the ministry. They are basically IPA, Investment Promotion Authority. They did a presentation on Sunday. We have the Small Medium Enterprise Corporation. We have National Institute of Standards and Industrial Technology, and ICDC, Industrial Centers Development Corporation. We are more policy-oriented. Our commercial security authorities are basically the implementers. So I will be basically talking more about the policy work that we have done over the last 2.5 years. I don't have a topic for my presentation that you may have realized, but basically my presentation will be based on the work that we've done in terms of policy development. We are just trying to make an awareness to our audience for the sake of this conference, to tell them about what we've done in terms of policy development, major economic policy development in the country through commerce and industry. Now, like I've said, our role as a department is basically policy-oriented. Our main focus is policy development. Our CSAs, the commercial statutory authorities, are our implementers. They implement the policies that we develop. Now, one of our key role and responsibility is basically to coordinate and monitor the development and growth of businesses and facilitate the efficient going to the second point, we basically coordinate and monitor the development and growth of businesses and facilitate the efficient trading of goods and services within the country. We also promote and facilitate the investment in business and industrial development. Basically, I have said we have the CSS that basically do the implementation. we basically focus on policy development. Now, now, just going back, looking at what has been the situation, the prevailing situation, despite the potential growth of opportunities and benefits generated from major economic projects, the country still has issues, basically a lack of local participation in resource sectors, the opportunities that our people are supposed to participate, we miss out on the opportunities, and also the lack of investment in downstream processing and manufacturing activities. Thus, the government has basically given directions on national content and downstream processing. This is why we've basically concentrated on developing some of the major economic policies in the last 2.5 years, basically trying to respond to the issues that we've been having over the years, despite all the investment opportunities. Our people continue to miss out on the investment opportunities that are provided. Now, in recent times, as I've said, in the last 2.5 years, we've basically developed 3 important policies. One of them is the national gold bullion policy, the national content policy, and the manufacturing policy. The national content policy and the national gold bullion policy were developed. We started some work in 2022, and then we managed to get the policies completed in 2023, and we got NEC endorsement or mandate. The manufacturing policy was basically completed this year. After some work was done last year, we managed to get that policy completed this year and got NEC mandate. We've got 2 policies that we are also working on. These are the national quality policy and the review of the national investment policy. Now, in terms of alignment, these policies are not developed out of the blue. These policies are developed in consistent with the development goals and directive principles within the Constitution, which are then cascaded into the Vision 2050, PNG Development Strategy 2030, and the Medium-Term Development Plan 4. So basically, these policies promote inclusive private sector growth, greater participation, and partnership in guiding investments into sustainable development. Now, we believe these policies are basically the game changers. We believe these policies will change the status quo of the country in the way we've been doing business with our investors. Like I said, our policies are aligned with the national goals and directive principles. In the national goals and directive principles, we have the first philosophy, or if you like, the value, That's on integral human development. And in the national content policy, this is reflected or reinforces the integral human development with the skills development. This is one of the key policy focus area in the national content policy. The other philosophy then is basically equality and participation. Now these values are basically captured in the national goals and directive principles. The philosophy our forefathers then basically used to basically develop the national goals and directive principles. So we are not developing these policies, out of the blues. These are basically captured in the Constitution. So we are just making reference to in terms of alignment. So in the national content policy, we have procurement, employment creation, equality, participation, and entrepreneurship and local suppliers. These are also reinforcing the equality and participation of that is captured in the national goals and directive principles. And the third one is national resources and environment. And in the national content policy that we developed, it talks about sustainable development, and this basically reinforces what is captured in the national goals and directive principles on national resources and environment. Now, in terms of policy interventions, I was saying that the policies that we developed, the first one is the national content policy for resource sectors. This policy was developed in 2023. We got cabinet mandate on the policy. Basically, I've already touched on the key policy focus areas, but if you read from there, it talks about domestic procurement, supply and entrepreneurship development, employment for citizens, skilled workforce development, gender equality, greater equity participation, and coherent sustainable development investment. So these are basically the key policy focus areas in the national content policy. These are all, they all reinforce what's in the national goals and directive principles. Now, the other policy that we've developed is the manufacturing policy. This policy, like I said, we believe it's the game changer. We believe it will change the status quo of the country in the way we've been doing business and what we've been doing over the last 49 years. We believe this policy will change the landscape. This policy is basically about redirecting all the resources, our raw resource inputs from the farm, from the forest, from the land, redirecting all the raw resource inputs into the factories, not into going to the wharves and for export. So we believe this policy is important for the country. There is an ambitious statement in the medium-term development plan 4 that talks about reaching a 200 billion economy, and we believe this policy in this space in downstream processing will increase the projection from 2% to 10% by 2030. Now, this policy is about government owning a goal. It's government developing the gold bullion policy. Basically, it's about harvesting gold, processing gold, and storing gold. And obviously, having gold as reserves during times of emergency. So this is why this policy was developed. But as I speak, there are obviously criticisms already about the way the project agreement and the shareholders agreements were negotiated, and of course the draft bill. So we yet to run with implementation of this policy. This is the only policy that we are seeing implementation as I speak, the SME policy. This is the policy that was developed in 2016 when we had our former minister then, Honorable Richard Maru, who was the Minister for Commerce and Industry at the time. This was the policy that he delivered when he was minister. And the other policy was the national trade policy. So this is the only policy that we are basically getting support from government as I speak. Basically, it's about providing access to finance and of course access to markets and basically training and capacity building. You know, our SMEs in the country, the major constraints that face our SMEs are basically about 8 or 9 of them, and access to finance is one of them. So we are happy that the government is already giving us that support to actually provide access to finance for our SMEs in the country. So this is the only policy we are basically implementing at the moment. The other policies that I've mentioned, these are policies that we've just developed, and hopefully we can run with the implementation of the policy soon. Okay, this is a chart showing the reporting mechanism, basically monitoring and controlling the investment in terms of domestic investment. This is where we work with the regulators. In terms of reporting, we report through the minister, but in terms of investments, this is the flow chart that shows how we basically coordinate and monitor and report. Now, let me conclude by saying that the work that we've done in terms of developing the policies is basically homegrown. We have not used any, expert consultants or expert advice to basically develop this policy. This is homegrown, and officers from within the department have basically, provided, all the support using the institutional background that we have within the department to develop all these policies. And of course, we've gone through the consultation process, exhaustive consultation process to develop all these policies. And on top of that, we've got the mandate to basically run with implementation. My message and plea to the audience is, if we have investors in the room who are interested in helping us to run with implementation of these policies, we invite you to partner with us, partner with commerce industry, and partner with the government. I think there's already interest shown. We met with one of our development partners yesterday at 2 o'clock, and they've shown interest that they're interested in supporting the department and supporting the government to basically run with implementation. So I appeal to those of you who are out there who are interested in the policies that we've written. We invite you to be to come and partner with us so we can be able to run with implementation of these policies. Thank you. And pass on.